Hi everyone, welcome back to a Thursday edition of How Much Did the Miners Get Beat Up Today? Actually wasn't too bad. So we'll take a look at the markets. The markets went crazy this morning. Obviously the CPI data came out, so we'll look at that. Look at Bitcoin, Ethereum as well. They had a wild rally today, so like I said, we'll take a look at that. We'll also take a look at the miners, see how they did. And we'll also take a look at BitDigital. They provided their September production updates, so we'll take a look at that. The growth continues, so that's good news there. And then we'll also take a look at BTC mine versus market cap, which miners are getting a premium basically. This was recommended by a viewer, so thank you for recommending it. And that is it. So let's take a look at the data. But first, not financial advice. You know the drill here. I'm invested in fine coins and companies. And if you enjoy this type of content about the miners, Bitcoin, everything else, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. So let's get into it here. So obviously the NASDAQ was up 2.23% today. Dow Jones was up 2.83%, and the S&P was up 2.6%. So obviously the investors, after they digested what was going on with the CPI data, figured it wasn't as bad as it could have been. And it came in at 8.2. They were expecting 8.1. So obviously it came in a little bit higher than they wanted to. But we're still down from the prior month in August, which was 8.3, I believe. My memory serves me correctly. We won't spend too much time on it. Bitcoin is 524 days away from its next halving event, so we are getting daily closer to that event, which always is a good sign. Usually Bitcoin starts running up within 6 months or so from that halving event, so we're still quite a ways away, but we're getting closer. Went too far over. Total network hash rate is going up. You can see here right now we are on the 7-day average at 266 million. Just yesterday, we were at 263. It is continuing to go up. Obviously, the miners are installing all their machines. And that's obviously creating a little bit of not a good situation for the miners because they're going to be making a little bit less. So hopefully they can install more miners and keep up with the hash rate growth. So that's the only way they can basically either earn the same or earn more is by installing more miners. So we'll see how that's going to play out. And then let's take a look at Bitcoin here really quick and the miners going over here. So right now, Bitcoin's at 19,419. It did drop all the way down today to a low of 18,131. I did say that we might drop down to 18,500, somewhere to around 18,000 possibly. Last couple of days I've been talking about it. We did drop down to, but we bounced off quite nicely on it. Right now we are at 19,418. The RSI is pretty much flat here. Price has been kind of going up a little bit, so that's a good sign possibly. We'll have to see how this plays out going forward. I think we are going to, what I'd like to see is obviously price continuing to go up a little bit while the RSI stays flat. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Or we may have a little bit of a pullback down to maybe around the 19,000 mark. RSI is going to go down nicely, and then from there we're going to go back up. That's kind of what I'm looking for right now. On the daily chart, we can see here we had this huge wick obviously today. This kind of a wick is usually a bullish sign. So we'll see if this actually plays out that way. The RSI is at 48. Last time we were right around here, so we're kind of close to where we were, down a little bit maybe on it if we look, but we're right in there. So it's still not looking too bearish on the daily chart, but we first need to see that change over on the 1-hour chart. Once we see that, then we may have some good news. Looking at the 4-hour chart, 4-hour chart is at 58 right now on the RSI. Last time we were around this range was up here. Price was higher. So that's telling me that we still need a little bit of time before things reverse possibly. Also tomorrow we may have a dip. We've seen this before where we had the CPI data come out. Things kind of rocketed up a little bit and then the next day things went down. So we'll see how tomorrow is going to look like. Tomorrow is also Friday. Okay, Ethereum is at 1,290 right now. It is obviously up on the day, I believe. No, it's actually down on the day today. It's down 0.24%. Bitcoin's up 1.35%. So it seems like it just went negative here in the last couple hours here. Yep. So same thing with the RSI here is kind of flat and price has been going up. So that's kind of a good sign there. Obviously, I think it's going to do the same thing as Bitcoin, possibly fall down a little bit before it goes back up. So that's kind of what we're looking for. So we'll see how that plays out over the weekend. Let's take a look at the miners here. So Annie was up 4.43% to 40 cents. Argo was down 10.53% to 17 cents. BitDigital was down 0.93% to $1.07. Bitfarms was up 4.7% to $1. CleanSpark was up 1% to $3.04. It was obviously much lower here at around 280 on the day. little bit below that even. So it bounced quite nicely. Cores was flat, $1.24. DigiHost, up 1.43% to 70 cents. DMG was down 0.22% to 17 cents. Greenidge was up 0.83% to $1.22. Hive was up 2.11% to $3.38. Hut was up 5.49% to $1.92. Iris Energy was up 3.69% to $3.65. Luxfolio was up 12.36% to 6 cents. Marathon was up 7.68% to $11.22. Mawson was up 4.3% to 49 cents. Riot was up 4.07% to $6.39. Soluna up 11.18% to $1.79. And Stronghold up 13.94% to 97 cents. So there's all the miners. And then let's take a quick look at the CPI data here. I'm sure you guys have looked at it everywhere else. So we came at 8.2. We were expecting 8.1. Biggest things, obviously, that have gone up here is in the last 12 months is food 11%, energy up 19%, and then all items less food and energy is only up 6.6. What else do we have here that's gone up quite a bit? Fuel oil has gone up really a lot this year at 58.1%, and then transportation services up 14.6% also. So could have been worse. We're at least having a slow descent down. We were at 8.3 in August. In July, I think we were at 8.5, I believe, if my memory serves me correct. So we are slowly trending downwards. We'll see if this continues going forward, obviously into October, November, December. We'll see where we end up on the other side of this. All right, so that is it for the CPI data. And then let's take a look at BitDigital. So BitDigital announced monthly production updates for September 2022. Here are the unaudited numbers. So in September 2022, the company earned 141.3 Bitcoin. It's a 3% decrease compared to the prior month. The decline was mostly driven by, obviously, they're saying the network hash rate, and the company earned 0 Ethereum during that time frame. They're not going to earn any Ethereum now unless they're going to be mining some old coins maybe. Next is treasury holdings of BTC and Ethereum were 943.3 and 5,261.7 with a fair market value of approximately 18.3 million and 7 million respectively on September 30th, 2022. Let's see here. This is the company has 2.7 exahash and 0.3 terahash of Ethereum mining. That's their full inventory that they have. Those are not all mining. Here's what they currently have mining. So 36% of the company's fleet of 14,308 Bitcoin miners and 0 Ethereum miners representing 1.35 exahash are currently mining. So that's actually an increase for them from the prior month, which is actually pretty good. And then a hosting partner update. They obviously have Compute North as one of their hosting partners. So they provide approximately 20 megawatts of capacity for them in September. So that's good as of September. And they have up to 48 megawatts to use. They're saying that they are following the situation obviously closely with Compute North in Chapter 11, but they don't see it as possibly having an effect on the company's current mining operations. So that's a good sign there. So a quick, easy update here. Let's take a look at the numbers that I have for them, and then we'll get into the BTC mined versus market hash rate for the miners, and we'll see which one's getting a premium and which ones are not. So BitDigital, 82 million shares out. Current stock price is $1.07. Market cap is 88.189 million. Institutions, we'll take a look down there. I haven't updated this part yet. Current hash rate is 1.35 exahash. Future hash rate, they're saying 2.7. I have it 2.8. I still have some of the older miners, I think, in here that they possibly turned off. That's why that hasn't been updated yet. Currently, 48% operational from where they are. Maybe a little bit less than that, 47, based on the 2.7 exahash. Future hash rate growth, about 100% more growth in them. So that's good. BTC HODL is 943.3, valued at 18.4 million. HODL to market cap is 20.87% right now, and each share has 22 cents of HODL position in it, basically. Going down here, we can see that their production here in the last 3 months has been pretty steady here. Hasn't been growing much, but it hasn't been falling much either, so that's a good sign. So July was obviously 142.5, August was 145.3, and September was 141.3, which is pretty good. At least it didn't fall too far. We've obviously seen a bigger increase in difficulty in the network during that time frame in September, so they at least kept up with it somewhat on it. And their efficiency for BTC per petahash is 104 Bitcoin per exahash, and it's 0.104 per petahash. Let's see here. So earnings potential, revenue potential is about 2.8 million roughly, somewhere around there. We're using the Bitcoin price. That's the average for the month of September. And they did sell about 117 Bitcoin for total proceeds of 2.3 million, sorry, on that one. Here's what we installed in September. So we installed another 1,350 miners of the 100 terahash miners. Those were running for about 8 days. And then we also installed about 2,000 of these 63 terahash miners, running also for a total of 8 days. The rest of the miners were running for 30 days, and that got us to the 1.35 exahash they reported, and pretty close to the 2.8 million in revenue. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now for those things. Institutions, we did get 4 more institutions. However, shares went down to 12.4 million from 14.2 million. So people did sell out. Some sold out, some bought in. It looks like a greater number sold out than those that got in. Percentage owned is 15.15%. We still have 1 buy rating on them. Price target is $4 across the board here for the average and low and high. And that is institutions. Now taking a look at their actual numbers here. So for the first quarter, they came in at 8.5 million. Second quarter was 6.8 million. We're looking at possibly 9.16 million. We'll see how close we are to that. That's kind of the estimate here. These are the actual reported. And we're trying to get it within at least 2.5% of that. That's kind of what my goal is here, to be within 2.5% of that number. So we'll see when that comes out, possibly sometime in October. We'll get the results for the Q3 numbers. So currently, we're looking at current quarter of 9.16 million, last 3 quarters of 28.8 million for a combined total of 38 million. If we're using the 50% net income from gross revenue, we're looking at about 19 million. And if we're using a PE ratio of 20, that will get us to $4.61 on the stock price, where I think it might be possibly well valued at that point. And then if we're using 75% net income from gross revenue and a PE of 20, we're looking at $6.82. And with the growth they do have, getting to 2.7, I don't know if they're going to get 20. Obviously, Bitcoin starts running up like crazy. They could obviously get a 20, 25 P. We've seen this obviously with other miners in the past. So if history repeats itself, we could see 20, but I'm guessing somewhere between 10 and 15 is a fair number. So $2.31 to $3.46. And if we go to 15, $3.46 to $5.19. That's kind of where I'm looking at on where I think they would be fairly valued. So that's Bit Digital. Good thing, obviously, is they got miners installed and operational, so that's a good sign. They just need to continue on doing this, I guess, especially with their hosting partners, getting those installed for them, and I think they're going to be okay. Obviously, they had a rough time last year, especially with Bitcoin being banned in China. Everything got moved over to, obviously, the United States and other countries, and they've been just struggling ever since then to get all that they had back up and operational. So this is actually a pretty good month for them as far as getting miners installed. It's, I think, probably one of their best months here that we have, 3,350 miners. Yeah, so it's actually pretty good. So we want to see this continue on. I think their production for October should improve as long as they can continue to add miners in here. And I think they might be over, maybe closer to 150 Bitcoins mined in October, if all goes well. All right, so that is it for Bit Digital. Next, let's take a look at the Bitcoins mined. So we do have this for all the companies here that we track on a monthly basis. Some that I've started tracking a little bit later in the year. I still have the numbers here for them, except for the last 3 months. I think for this is the only one that's like that for Bit Digital. But everybody else is pretty much full in. We're still waiting on Greenidge, Mawson, and Soluna to provide their September numbers. So we're using the numbers up to their last reported. I'm also using the numbers, production numbers on average, and then we're using the last numbers here as well, so you can see all this information down here. So here's kind of what we're trying to figure out is based on the current market cap of the companies and what they actually produced on average over the last 9 months, I guess. Where does their BTC or market cap per BTC stand in line with other miners comparably? And then also what it stands with the last production updates that we have for them. And what is their market cap to BTC for that? So here we're just taking the average BTC price for all the miners. We can see Argo is 178 over the last 8 months. BitDigital is 104. Bitfarms is 414 BTC per month on average. CleanSpark is 343. Core is 1,148. DigiHost is 71. DMG is 68. Greenidge is 221. Hive is 440. Hut 8 is 318. Iris is 174. Marathon 286. Mawson 140. Riot 427. Soluna 74. And Sphere is almost 10, 9.58. So if we look at it this way, who has on average produced the most so far this year? Let's do this descending. So obviously Core is the number one guy here. Then we got, ooh, why did this change on me? That's not good. What happened here? Formula contains an invalid reference. Reference. F10. Average should be, oh, this one should be this one here. Why did that one, okay. All right, so that works. Sorry about that. A little glitch here in the matrix. Okay. So Core obviously came in number one with 1,408. Hive came in second on average, followed by Riot, Bitfarms, CleanSpark, Hut 8, Marathon. Obviously here had quite a few bad months this year. Greenwich at 221, Argo 178, Iris 174, Mawson 140, and so on. Now looking at this, you would think that Core, based on the number that they're getting, would be also the top guy here on the conversion. So market cap per BTC. So if we look at it this way, hopefully this doesn't mess up my number down here, and I think it will. Let's see, how can we do this? That's interesting. Let's do this. Let's move this guy over here. Equals average, but that's going to mess up my other numbers. That's not good. Okay, well, that's not going to work. So let's try it anyways. Descending. Yeah, see, that puts my number over here. Undo that. I should have thought this through a little bit. Okay. So let's just go through one by one. So Marathon obviously came in at number one spot with 4.5 million in value per BTC mined, basically. Next we have would be Sphere 3D at 2.6 million, even though they had the worst number of BTC mined here. They came in at second, followed by Riot at 2.5 roughly million per BTC value gained. Then we have, who's next here? Probably looks like it's going to be Hut 8 at 1.172 million per BTC value. And then we have Iris at 1.1. And even though Iris is in the 10th spot right here for production, but they have been doing a lot better here in the last couple months. So we'll take a look at how that affects it in a minute. And then after that, where would we go? We would have to go to like 800. So we got Bit Digital at 844. And then we go down to Hive at 636,000 BTC value. And what else do we have here? 6.5. It's another 6. So Luna's at 662. They shouldn't be getting that, I don't think. DigiHost at 271K. They're kind of down there. DMG is kind of getting a little bit of a premium, it seems like, 419 compared to DigiHost. What else we got here? Mawson, 285. CleanSpark, 417. So they would be towards the bottom here. So obviously they're not getting a premium at all, which makes me think even more that they're way undervalued, along with Bitfarms at 482, and seeing that they are in the, fourth and fifth spot as far as on average production. So that's obviously a good sign, at least to me, that they are way undervalued from where they should be based on what, you can see. Where is it? Marathon, 286 on average. Number one spot. Number two spot was Sphere 3D. Only produced that, so obviously they're getting a lot more premium based on their market cap. And then if we use the average, which is taking all of these guys' numbers here and doing an average on it, looking to see where they are from the average. So Core Scientific is 2.79 times away from the average. And then if you multiply it by their current market cap per BTC, you would get a market value that would be at least on average, averagely based market cap would be 1.2 billion. Hive would be 474 million, and they are right now 280. With Riot, you'd have 460 million, and they are at 1 billion right now, so that would be a downgrade for them. Then you got Bitfarms at 446, which would be a double for them. CleanSpark 369 on that. Hut would be 343, so that would actually be a decrease for them. Marathon would be a huge decrease, obviously 308 million based on their average production. Greenidge would be actually an increase for them, 238, a 4 times increase. Argo would be a 2 times increase to 192 million. Iris would be a decrease to 188. Mawson would be an increase, 3.7 times that to 151 million. But Digital would be an increase to 112 million in market value. Solana would be 80, 76 for DigiHost. DMG would be 73 and Sphere would be 10. And then the average stock price would be 346 for Core. Hive would be 572. Riot 275. Bitfarms 223. CleanSpark 783. Hut 8 $1.76. Marathon 264. Greenidge 555. Argo 35 cents. Iris $3.42. Mawson $1.85. Bit Digital $1.36. Solana 291. DigiHost 282. DMG 46 cents and Sphere 3D at 17 cents. And that would be on the average of the BTC per market cap, basically. So I hope that kind of makes sense. So looking at this just on this data, I can see obviously some of these are way undervalued, some of them are way overvalued, possibly. Now looking at the current BTC production that they had, the last reported, which is either for September or August in some cases. I think we have 3 cases where it might be August. But when we're looking at this, we can see that Core is at 365,000 per BTC mined, which is obviously very low. And let me see here. Let's do this descending. So we got Core came in at number 1. Bitfarms came in at 481. BTC mined last reported. CleanSpark at 448. Hive at 396. Marathon at 360. Riot at 355, Iris at 325, Greenidge at 301, Hut at 277, Argo at 215, Bit Digital at 141, Mawson at 90, Solana 86, DMG 77, DigiHost 69, and Sphere at 11. So you can see here, based on this, Core's way undervalued at 365. Obviously, for Core, it could be because of their debt. We'll have to see how their Q3 numbers come out. We'll talk about it when they do come out, see if they were able to pay down a lot of their debt. Bitfarms is at 416,000. CleanSpark is at 319,000 per BTC, basically, to market cap current ratio. Hive is at 707. So even Hive is lower in production. They're getting a better premium than CleanSpark, Bitfarms, and Core. Then you got Marathon, which is in 5th spot right now, has the highest BTC, what's the word I'm looking for? BTC value, basically, per BTC value to market cap. Riot is in 2nd spot with 3 million, and they're at 355. Then you got Iris at 617. Greenidge is at 174,000. Hut 1.3 million. So they are, I think, way overvalued based on this, at least where everything else compared to where they are mining right now. Just on this alone. Argo, I think they're still undervalued in general because of where Bitcoin is right now, but based on what they're producing here in this list, based on these miners, that would tell me that they are a little bit overvalued. Argo at 434, Bit Digital at 624, so they're kind of high up there as well. Mawson at 445, Soluna, DMG, and then you got DigiHost at 277, and Sphere is 2.3 million, so they're way overvalued based on their current peers. Obviously, they're going to be going to possibly 6 exahash by sometime next year, and they're only at 100 petahash, I think, still. So they have obviously a huge growth amount, and I think investors are giving them a lot of benefit in that, and they're giving them a premium in the stock price based on where they're going to be in the future, right? Investors are always kind of forward-looking. So if they're forward-looking, they should really look at Bitfarms, which still has a long ways to go to get to their 7 point something exahash that they want to get to. CleanSpark is planning on getting to 22 exahash. Like Marathon's going to get to 23 exahash. And they're getting a heck of a premium here on it. So I would imagine over time, this should even out. I think CleanSpark should get as big of a premium as Marathon or Riot, especially once they start getting closer to that 22 exahash and actually providing some news that they're buying miners, whatever it might be. But right now, they have been kind of beaten down, in my opinion. Same with Core. Core obviously has been beaten down because of their debt. So we want to see that get improved. And I think that will improve mostly if Bitcoin starts going back up. But when that's going to happen, who knows? So it is what it is. So I just wanted to point this out to you guys based on the request from the viewer. So thank you for their input on this and suggestion. I thought it was kind of cool to see this numbers. And let's just do this really quick by descending. So yeah, so right now Marathon is number 1, Riot, then you got Sphere, Hut 8, which obviously Hut 8 should be lower on the list here in this, along with Hive. Hive is kind of, I mean, I think the average should be around 600 to 800 based on this, but it is what it is. So that is it. I want to just point that out to you guys. You guys can kind of see which ones are kind of getting a premium, which ones are not, and possibly the reasons why they're not getting the premium as well. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is going to be available to my Patreon members. As always, thank you to everyone there for their continued support. Tomorrow we'll see what else comes out. We'll see how tomorrow responds to today's obviously kind of bullish rally here. We'll see if they can continue or not, and then we'll see if any of the 3 other miners can report anything on their production for September. So we're just waiting on those. And then this weekend I'll probably do a video on Bitfarms versus CleanSpark versus Hive versus Hut and versus I think Iris Energy in there as well. So we'll do it on those, maybe even Argo, we'll see. So that's kind of planned for this week. So if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out. Thank you so much for watching. Love you all. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye.